I'm Brianna. I have decided to do the newbie Authortube tag. Found all the questions, so here we go. Super short introduction. There you go. Got to see my cats, so that's good. How did you find Authortube? I found it through scrolling through YouTube. Nothing very exciting. The first Authortube person that I found was Kate Kavanaugh, and that was about a year ago, and I still do watch her. Along with new people, I found some other people too. What genres do you write in? Fantasy and sci-fi. Mostly fantasy. I do have some sci-fi stuff, but not nearly as much as the fantasy stuff I have. Okay, there's a car alarm. What is your preferred writing tense, point of view, and category of story? Past tense is my favorite tense to write in. I don't think I've ever written in present tense, ever. Then I also like, hello Monica. I also write in third person. Goodness gracious, girl. Third person and first person, kind of half and half. Half and half. It depends on what kind of story I'm writing. Put my hand down. What kind of story I'm writing, and what the story needs. So if I've got multiple characters, points of view that I'm going to be writing from, probably third person, first person if I want to dig into the character. It just depends on how the story feels. Then the category of writing I write in YA. I have like one or two stories that are written in adult stories, but most of what I write is YA. Because that's just what I've always written. Are you a plotter, a pantser, or a planster? I used to be a dedicated pantster. I never planned anything. I would always just sit and write, never outlined. I always hated outlining. But now that I've actually tried to write an entire novel and succeeded, I need to plan a little more. So I'm a planster. I do a bit of writing so I can get from point A to point B, but the in-between's a little fuzzy, because even if I made a detailed outline, I would never stick to it because I just like to see how it goes. So, planster. Okay. Are you self-published, published, or yet to be published? I am yet to be published. I have not been published yet. I just finished my first novel, as I said earlier, so I am working on editing it and seeing where I'll go query-wise. We'll see. What publishing company or literary agent or printing company are you represented by? None. If you are not published, what is your dream publishing house and or literary agent? I don't really have a dream publishing house or literary agent. I would say Scholastic, just because that's one of my favorite authors she's published with Scholastic, but that sounds very stereotypical to me. I haven't really done a whole lot of research into this part because I haven't gotten into querying and all that stuff yet. So I'm not sure. Scholastic does have a lot of YA. I don't know. I'll have to see. What Authortube related videos can we expect to find on your channel? Writing blogs is a plan that writing blogs is something I plan to do. Maybe a tour of this room, which is my like craft, writing, music, sewing room. And I would like to do some like writing stuff. And what I mean is like favorite tropes or why I write in present tense, that sort of thing. Sounds interesting to me. I also really want to do some costume creation of my characters and characters from other books. just because that just sounds fun. I like sewing, I do theater, so I'm really interested in that sort of thing. So we might be seeing some costuming stuff on here. There might be some geeky, nerdy sorts of things as well, because that's just who I am. Next one is, when did you start writing? Okay, so I feel like I've been, hello, Tail. Goodness gracious, Monica. Yes, you are beautiful and sweet. I feel like I've been writing my entire life. The first distinct time I remember writing is probably in 3rd grade. I wrote a story called The Valley's Voice. It was a children's story. It's about a nightingale who sang in the morning for some reason, and she was kidnapped, and everybody in the valley had to go rescue her. So that was the first story I ever wrote. First, and I guess that's the first writing. I kind of went into the next question, which is, what was the first story you ever wrote? There you go. Valley's Voice. I won a contest for it. I got to go to a whole writing thing. It was a lot of fun. I loved it. What authors have inspired your writing the most? 3 ones I'm going to talk about. I'm sure there are other people who have inspired me in the past, but these are my 3 current favorite authors. So the first is Maggie Stiefvater. I love her worlds. She always has these beautiful, distinct, detailed worlds that are so uniquely her own. My favorite books of hers are The Raven Boys, but every single book she has is just immersive, is the best way I could say it. Immersive, and whenever you're done reading them, you have a massive book hangover. So there you go. I also really love her characters. She always makes good, detailed characters with flaws, and they are lovely. I also really like Leigh Bardugo. She also makes very good characters. She also has stories that are very real, despite their slight fantasy element to them. I like that. Last one, Holly Black. I love Holly Black. She always writes about Fae, and in this deep down soul that I am, I'm constantly wishing that I could be abducted by the Fae and go out into the wilderness and live in the trees and whatnot, but it hasn't happened yet. I don't know why. So there you go. Next question. Do you schedule your writing sessions or simply get writing in whenever you have the time? Whenever I have the time is when I write. I have a full-time job. I also act. And I don't always have the time every day. Some days I'm really tired because I teach, and teaching is tiring. So there you go. Do you write on a computer, typewriter, write everything out by hand, or use a blend of those? And where do you write in general? So, Monica, can you lay down? Oh, yes, tail, sweetie. Oh, hello. I know. You're very angry. Ow. Can you go down, please? Hold on. Sorry. Okay. All right. So, no, Monica. Cat. Okay. So, right, computer. I write on the computer. I used to write dedicatedly in notebooks, never wrote on the computer, and then I really wanted to write an entire novel, and I had to try and translate that into the computer, and it was a horrible experience, so I started actually typing on the computer, because if I actually wanted to be published, I really needed to type on the computer, so I started doing that. I do write by hand to think and some character development stuff, and just to get the feeling of it again, because I love writing by hand. I love the sound of a pencil scratching across a piece of paper. Love it. So I do write some by hand. Oh, and where do I write? Here, in this room, which I might give you a tour of at some point. I sometimes write at coffee shops, but there's one coffee shop in the area that I live in, and it's about 15 minutes away, and it's winter. So I don't go there very often, unfortunately. But I mostly write in this particular room, sometimes in my bed, but mostly in this room. Okay. Last and final question on here is what are you most looking forward to now that you are a part of Authortube? I am looking forward to the community. As I have said before, maybe I haven't, I'm saying it now, I live in a small town. So when you live in a small town, the chances of having people who have like minds and like interests is smaller. Thankfully, I have my acting troupe, so that's nice. Got one of my interests at least. But so far, I have yet to find a writing community within this. So I'm really hoping that I can get a writing community online. So that is my hope to join Authortube, is to have a writing community. So thank you so much for watching if you have. And here's my cat. This is Monica. Hello. She's slightly grumpy, but thank you. Thank you for watching. If you have gotten to this point, I really appreciate it, and hopefully you continue to watch my shows. Goodbye.